Right now, we're realizing that the Philippine stock market is at an all-time high. We closed last year at about 8,500 for the index. We opened about 8,700 for this year.
Yes.
And we expect that by mid-2018, we might actually hit 9,000 in the Philippine stock market index. And to tell us more about this one, we've got, of course, the very handsome and very dapper Mr. Marvin Fausto of COL Financial, who in his previous life used to be the Senior Vice President and Chief Investment Officer of BDO Unibank. And at the same time, you are the funds supermarket. That sounds like a big job. The funds supermarket head in COL Financial. What exactly does that mean?
Well, it's a supermarket of different funds. There's nothing like it. Meaning, in other countries, they have like that. You can just buy any fund that you need, whether it's short-term, medium-term, long-term, equities, bonds, money market, online. I mean, it's open to anyone that opens an account. It's really kind of going down to the more retail customers, because now it's very hard to go to the bank, to the insurance company.
That's
You
right.
have to have large amount of money before anyone can entertain you. Now, even if you have 5,000, 10,000 pesos, you can open an account, you can invest in the stock market very conveniently.
Let's step back a bit and then discuss a bit more about yourself. How did you find yourself moving from being in a large bank into becoming sort of like an entrepreneur in COL Financial?
Yeah. I've been in the fund management industry for over 30 years. 30 years now, I've been managing large amount of money. In fact, BDO were the largest. I was managing the largest funds in the country. And I was actually making the rich richer. In other words, I cannot talk to you if you don't have 100 million because there's such large amount of money. So I thought, using that experience, using that knowledge, I see a lot of Filipinos having a hard time investing. So I thought, I've been working for 30 years. What's the next 30 years? I might as well do something more meaningful and help more Filipinos try to access investments using my knowledge, using my experience, and try to help them out. So some kind of giving back.
What's a day like for you, right? I'm just curious. How does the day work for you?
The days, I start with simple yoga, exercise, and go to the office. Because I run the fund supermarket of COL now, no, that's really the one making investing for everybody. Because I set up a consultancy company called IFE. IFE means investing for everyone. But that's in partnership with COL. That's we try to come up with that platform, or we came up with that platform that made it available to a lot of Filipinos to invest in the market using funds. Because it's very hard to invest in the stock market buying your own stocks, studying the companies, investing it yourself, trading it yourself. Sometimes it's very hard. You don't have the time. We have a lot of things we have a lot of businesses. We are working. We don't have much time. The best way to efficiently participate is to buy funds.
But like for me, for example, I'm an entrepreneur by heart, and although and I have to keep a large part of my brain power focused on the business,
on what you do, right?
But you need to make sure that there's investment being handled. And if I went into and studied the stock market a bit more, that would be great. But the thing is that part of my brain which works on the entrepreneurial side shrinks because I have to put more effort over here.
Exactly. This is what I'm trying to tell people. We all have a role to play in our life, in the world. I believe that we all have a role to play. Now, in order for you to maximize that role, you are an entrepreneur, some are doctors, some are teachers, some are entrepreneurs, traders, etc. They do that the best way they can. But money and preparing for your retirement or for your finances is very important. It plays a critical role. And you put your 100% time in your business or being a doctor, being a teacher, and forgetting that part of finances.
That's right.
Now, what I'm trying to say is that do what you do, being a doctor, being an entrepreneur, do whatever you do and do it best. But set aside a certain amount, put it in businesses, basically the stock market.
So I'll do what I do best, and you do what you do best with my money.
That's right. That's right. So kami naman, the fund managers, we do our best in investing. Stock market investors do their best in investing. So you do your best. I mean, so that we can have a better world, right?
That's right.
If you dabble in what we do, you tend to
jack of all trades, master of none. That's how I see it.
You cannot do a lot more than what you're doing now. We are all given a talent. We just have to maximize the talent. And if your talent is really in selling or being a doctor, etc., that's what you should do. right?
So now let's take a look now at the Philippine economy and particularly the stock market right now. And it's doing very, very well. It started off on a great note, but sometimes people don't understand why it's doing well in the first place. So can you help us get a better appreciation? What's driving the improvement of the Philippine economy? And is it something that's unique to the Philippines? Or are we just being dragged by the whole improvement of the global economy?
Okay, let me just give you one very bullish reason why. They call it the demographic sweet spot.
Okay.
The demographic window. The demographic sweet spot is defined by, the United Nations defined it by if the majority of the population is in their productive stage, meaning about 55% are between 15 years old to 65 years old. When majority of the population is in that stage, that country is in its most productive stage.
Okay.
So if it's in the most productive stage, the companies in that country becomes productive. Meaning, if your productive stage is 15 years old to 65, that's the most productive stage in your life, right? If majority of the population is in that stage, the country will be in that stage. Now, the Philippines is particularly entered in that period, 2015 up to 2040. That's about 30 years, 35 years.
The median age right now is about 22.6 to 23 years old.
We are a very young country, a young population. The other countries that went through that stage, that demographic window, like Japan in the 1960s, South Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, all of those companies, even Thailand and China, that went through that period, their country's economy grew the fastest. Because the majority became productive. Tayo, we entered that in 2015, actually 2016, where our majority now is productive. So it doesn't really matter where you are. It doesn't really matter what your work is, or it doesn't even really matter who the president is. Because, like it or not, we're all going to grow old. People are going to start a business, work. They stop being dependent. They become independent. Now they start a family, they build a house, they build a car, they buy a car. They become productive and create this economic miracle that is going to happen for the next 35 years. And people and investors know that. So they buy into this country, they buy into the companies, because the companies are going to be most productive in this stage. And the first 10 years is the strongest. Now, but people have to realize that this is long-term. It is long-term. It's not going to go up on a straight line. I mean, the stock market doesn't go up on a straight line. No stock market does. In other words, it goes up and down. It goes up and down, right? That's why people have to realize it's also volatile. That's why they should not be scared lang if it goes down. What we're saying is that even if it goes down, because of where we are now, it will eventually go up.
So it could be going like this, but moving upwards
yes,
this way.
Yes, that's right, that's right. So when you invest in the stock market, understand that it goes like that.
Okay.
Nah, you just don't. If you're a trader, that's different. That's different. You just go in and out there. 85% of those people lose money. I mean, there's only a few that really do that for a living. So that is, they make money, but that's very difficult. When you invest, you're an ordinary Filipino. You have your own business. You do what you do. You just invest over the long term. That's what you're trying to say. Just ride this, pick the good companies, and we're going to ride this for the next 10, 15 years.
Because the stock market is doing so well, maybe there's some people wondering that, let's say, for example, I haven't invested just yet, and the stock market is going up this high. Is it too late for me to actually enter the game and invest in the stock market?
No, it's not too late. It's not too late. I'm telling you, this is the next 35 years, right? If you're just starting, my suggestion is you should do it on a regular basis. Don't time it, meaning even the market is up, you just buy a few amount, and then it goes down, you buy again. You do it regularly. For example, you have a business, you're an employed person. You set aside like 10 to 20%, actually about 20%. And then that's what you put it in different stocks or in different funds. You do it regularly, even if it goes up or goes down. If you just time it, you're never going to get it. Okay. It's going to be very hard for you. You might be disappointed, it goes down, you bought it. You have to look at it over the long term.
And your limbic system is at work over there.
Yes. Your limbic system is going to dictate, the market is going up. I'm not going to buy, right? I'm not going to buy. It might go down. Or when the market's going down, it might go down again, so I'm not gonna buy. So what's gonna happen, right? You're not gonna buy if it goes up. You're not gonna buy if it goes down.
Exactly.
So where you're not gonna buy anymore, right?
So
because your emotions coming in.
And how should somebody, let's say, if I am just one person who wants to invest, your advice, I mean, of course, your advice will be to buy mutual fund, but do you advise anybody who is just a singular person to say, I'll just be able to pick and choose the stocks?
If it really depends on how old you are. If you're just a beginner, I suggest you buy funds first because that doesn't require too much study. But if you want to make it a profession, meaning you want to buy stocks for a living, that is where you really study the stocks and go to the seminars, get the degree, ganyan.
So stepping back, it's a good chance that you say that many people, there are first timers coming in. Probably you'll be getting out this time, especially with the economy doing so well. Are there any common pitfalls that they have aside from, let's say, the emotional baggage of the roller coaster going? Are there other things that they should also watch out for when they're first timers coming in?
When you're a first timer, it's really very critical that you understand what you're getting yourself into, right? Aside from the emotion, because the emotion is the biggest thing. Emotion is the biggest. That's your biggest problem. Because if you already know what's in the book, you just follow it and everybody's going to be rich. But the other thing is that you really have to understand what you're getting yourself into. Some they just follow their friends, or they heard it on the radio or a newspaper, read the newspaper, somebody told them to buy this, tips, right? And they just ride it. And that's a very stupid thing to do.
Okay, so at least, because people, they say, oh, wait, may chismis ako. People, they give you the call, say, this is a good place to put money. So those things that's the emotion talking. I mean, if you react to it, it's a limbic type of reaction, I guess.
Correct. But you have anything that you do, you just really have to study. You really have to know what you're getting yourself into. That's why I said earlier, first you start with a mutual fund, an index fund. Most specifically, the index fund goes with the market.
Okay.
And you do it on a regular basis, meaning monthly.
Okay.
A very simple thing to do. Whenever you get your salary, you put a certain amount, put aside, and put it there, invest. You open an account with COL, and you trade it, right?
Okay, yeah.
You buy there. You can buy any fund there. Now, if the second thing is to kind of just continue doing that and monitor it. I'm talking about monitoring it in a way that it kind of matches with your age, and second is really your temperament. The first is age. If you're young, you put a lot more because you have a lot more time in your life. I mean, it's better for you to do. I call them the aspiring wealth builder. When you're like 35 years old and below, that's the time you can be more aggressive. Even if you're a conservative investor, I say that even if you're conservative, you have to put money in risk assets or the stock market. And then as you grow older, that's the time when you pare it down, right? So let's say if you become 40 or 50 years old, you pare down the stock portfolio and then put a little bit more in fixed income. You balance it. As you grow older, then less and less in equities.
So let's say that when you're younger, let's say 35 and below, like say millennials right now, let's say 10 to 20% of their salary should at least automatically go into
stocks. And in your total investment naman, about 80% in the stock market and 20% in fixed income.
I see.
That's kind of the mix I am.
And then when you get to your, let's say, mid-40s,
then you pare down 50-50 or 60-40, depending on your risk appetite. The risk appetite now comes into play when you become emotional. If you cannot really sleep and right, when the market goes up, you couldn't sleep, and I mean that's not really for you, right? So you better pare it down.
So the best advice for you right now is to start now.
Yeah,
to start now and to start regularly.
Yes, I'm saying that we have a very critical situation right now. If you don't start now, you're going to miss the train, right?
Now, not saying that we should invest in individual stocks, but I'm sure right now you are monitoring the whole market and you're saying there are specific companies which look like these are really good companies to invest in. What are those companies that you see right now in the horizon?
The country now is full of large companies, but there are only few ones that are really doing well. Like for example, the different industries that we have that are really growing, like the property sector, you have Ayala Land. Ayala Land is the largest. And then you have the retail sector and the consumer sector. You have SM Prime and the one that has the malls. And then you have the banks. The banks, the biggest bank is BDO. So you play or you invest in the ones that are the largest and the most profitable. So my really good picks are Ayala Land and SM Prime and then BDO. So these are the companies, the top three that you can ride. When the economy grows, you will be sure that these guys are continue to grow.
And now, I mean, I actually went to COL because I think it's the best way for somebody like me who's very busy to actually say, hey, can you help me put my money together? And what are the packages that COL will actually offer, and how low can I actually put my money in?
The minimum is only 5,000 pesos.
5,000?
You can already start investing. We have seminars almost every day for free. You can just go to TechTight, register, or even online, you register, you go to our seminars. The seminars teaches you how to invest in the stock market, how to invest in mutual funds, and all of these seminars. We have that almost every day. And it's free. I mean, because we do it to help more people. And only 5,000 you can already invest. Now, syempre, you don't stop at 5,000. Mm-hmm. I mean, you continue to build your wealth. You do 5,000 every month, and then sooner or later, you'll be a millionaire before you know it.
Wow. So, just in case, let's give some of the people out there some information on how to get in touch with COL. What are your online...
Yeah, we have a website, colfinancial.com. And then you can just register there for seminars. And you can also try opening an account. We have the forms. And the website is very, very helpful. There are the forms there. You can fill it up, and then you can send the forms to our office. Usually because of the requirement for the Know Your Customer, the KYC requirements by the SEC. So we have to follow that. And as soon as you're done that, you can do it online. You can transfer your funds from bank to the COL, any bank, any of the large banks, you can do that. And then you can also invest in the fund supermarket, which is COL Fund Source, where you can buy any fund that you need online, anytime, and you can watch it anywhere.
Well, thanks a lot, Marvin. We really appreciate you coming over to tell us a bit more about the stock market for first-timers, to how they can get in and enjoy the growth that the Philippines will be experiencing for the next 10, 15 years. If you've got more questions for COL Financial or Marvin Fausto, please feel free to drop us a line over here on our YouTube channel, or to please get in touch with COL Financial. Again, thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Bianca Cruz, Senior Community Manager of this beautiful space. Here at Accelerate, we connect entrepreneurs, freelancers, and small businesses with each other through our space and our events. Accelerate offers a co-working space, private offices, meeting rooms, virtual offices, and event spaces. Work with us. You can learn more about Accelerate through our website, accelerate.ph.